You are not fat because of food.
Right.
You're fat because you're uncomfortable with yourself and with your anxiety. This is a hard podcast episode to listen to for a variety of reasons, but what you're going to watch is somebody actually healing in real time. Everything that you see online is from people that have already lost weight and put it behind them, or people that are losing weight, but they're only actually sharing their low calorie, high protein recipes and what they're eating. They're not actually diving into how they're dissecting and changing their mind, their relationship with food, their relationships with themselves, and actually addressing the things that led to them being fat in the first place. And the reason why they're not sharing that is because very few people actually do that. The people that do it the right way and actually put it behind them for good, the way that you deserve to do as well, typically don't want that to be shared online because it requires an insane amount of vulnerability and courage and balls. Because at the end of the day, we're out here sharing this story. And as much as me or my mom or you or anyone else is saying that we know factually that she will keep the weight off, it's still in the back of everybody's mind that we don't really actually know. But what we do know is that we're here to keep hope alive, and we're both here committed to the truth, regardless of how hard it is to say, and especially regardless of how hard it is to hear. I don't love the way that I showed up on this call. And my reality is I'm towing the line between being a coach and being a son. And that is very confrontational for me because I spent my entire life blaming my mom for the fact that I grew up never eating healthy foods and with an unhealthy relationship with myself and became so fucking fat in the first place. So a lot of my own shit is coming up here. And my work is to maintain the frame of what my mom actually needs without letting my own shit get in the way of that. And that's a practice for myself, and that's the edge of my growth and my expansion right now as a coach for my mom. That's very, very triggering for me. So you're going to see parts of that come up here on this call as well. If you're somebody that's fat, has an unhealthy relationship with food, you're always losing weight and gaining it back, and you have severe anxiety, the next 45 minutes are going to be confrontational, but it might just be the 45 minutes you need to get back in the driver's seat of your own life. 3, 2, 1, and we are live. End of week 5 on Mom's weight loss journey. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good.
And what was your weigh in this morning?
It was more. Did you watch the video I sent you?
I've not watched any videos.
2032.
And what were you last week?
2026.
So you gained 0.6 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
How does that feel to you?
Shitty.
What feels shitty about it specifically?
That the scale moved in the wrong direction.
Mm-hmm. And why do you think that the scale moved in the wrong direction?
Well, I had talked to you about it the other day and said that I think that I was worried about gaining weight. And I actually started 2 medications. I only told you about one because I forgot one because I was done. So I was on a 2-week prednisone. I think it was 2 days and 2 weeks. And then I started a anxiety med.
So we got 2 different new medications. Is there any link between these medications and weight gain?
Both of them.
So what specifically? So you feel like you have a good understanding of why you gained weight this week, right?
Right.
And what
I
was
actually do think it's water because I do still feel a little thinner in my face and a little in my belly.
Mm-hmm. And what are you taking prednisone for?
It was for my thigh pain.
Okay. And what you're taking anti-anxiety medication?
Yes.
What's the reason for taking that?
Well, because I have anxiety all the time.
Mm-hmm. And what is the reason why you feel like you've had anxiety all the time?
I don't know. I've had it my whole life.
What do you think anxiety is?
It's me being anxious. Like I will feel my heart palpate. Mm-hmm. So sometimes I'll go, oh my gosh, I'm having a heart attack. That's kind of like a panic attack. I feel uncomfortable sometimes in large crowds where I start thinking, oh gosh, I might pass out. Just that butterfly feeling that you get in your stomach, but I get it in my chest and in my stomach.
But why, like from a human level, why do you think anxiety is a thing?
I don't know.
Do you think it's to tell us that there's something wrong?
Right. Yeah. It's like a fight or flight mode.
Yeah. So the solution to anxiety, do you believe that anxiety is something that can be cured? Or do you think
I don't know. We talked about this, and I'm not 100% sure because I guess it would just depend on why you're having that anxiety.
Are you clear on why you're anxious?
No, because I've been anxious my whole life.
So you were born anxious. When you came out of
I
your
came
mom,
out of
you
the
were
womb like,
anxious?
yeah, stressed
Yeah,
out.
so nobody's born anxious. When's the first time that you remember being really anxious?
Probably when my mom would be out partying and I would be stressed out thinking something happened to her.
How old were you?
Well, I don't little. I would be with Grandma Ellie and George. So 6,
So you're
7,
so you're 6 years old and your mom is out partying,
right?
and you're anxious about what specifically?
Her not coming home. Like if something happens to her.
So you're worried, and if something happened to her, what about that would worry you that you would be alone, right?
Well, yeah, of course, when you're little and even when you're older, you don't want something bad to happen to your parents.
So in that moment when your mom was gone, what was she not giving you that you needed her to give you?
Well, I don't know if she wasn't not giving me anything because it's like when you were younger in high school, if I'd go out with my friends, I was still met all your needs before I left. And then she would leave me with my grandparents who were totally responsible.
So all of your needs were being met already.
Yeah, I think so by Ellie and George, Grandma Ellie and Grandpa George.
Yeah. So then what were you anxious about if all your needs were being met?
Well, I just said that if something would happen to her because she was drinking or doing things she shouldn't be doing.
But if she's doing things that she shouldn't be doing, that means that your needs are not being met, right? Because she's
Well,
putting
I
you in
don't, I don't,
a
I don't
because
completely understand that because it's like when I would go out when you were little sometimes and I'd go out with my friends, I would
right,
still
right.
make
But
sure.
are you doing the same thing Grandma was doing, or were you doing things because you're saying Grandma was doing things she should not be doing? What does that
Right. Well,
mean?
I wasn't really doing things I shouldn't be doing.
So what was Grandma doing that you weren't doing?
Well, I'm not I never did use drugs.
So Grandma was doing drugs. So the actual fear was
Right.
around Grandma going and doing drugs, right?
Right.
And
I don't
then
even
so
know
you
how I knew about those things at that time.
right. Right. So can you see how initially we're like, I'm anxious because what if something happens to my mom? Well, I did the same thing she did, but you actually didn't because she was doing drugs and you weren't, right?
Right. But I'm
So
anxious about you being where you are
hang
right
on.
now too.
Right, right, right. But what we're doing is addressing anxiety at the root cause. Does that make
Okay.
sense? You're not anxious because I'm in a different country. You're anxious because you grew up being anxious about the people closest to you dying. And does it feel true to you that, let's say that anxiety never existed at a young age? Does it feel true to you that you would feel less anxious about your medical situation and about me traveling and all the other shit right now?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Pausing this episode for 1 second so that you, as the listener, can hear in hindsight what I wish I would have asked my mom at this part of the conversation is this anxious part of you, what does it desire for your life? So I called her afterwards when we were done recording and asked her, and what this anxious part of her actually wants is for her to be safe. That's it. It's just her wanting to be safe. And when we come to that conclusion, what we're able to recognize is that it's not this war of my mom versus her own anxiety. It's my mom and her anxiety actually both wanting the same thing, but just going after that thing in different ways. And once you identify that your anxiety actually wants the same thing that you want for yourself, which is what is actually best for you and your life and your soul, you're able to find some love and able to find some gratitude and actually put an end to the war. Yeah, so if Grandma didn't go out and do drugs and have her, look, this is all, Grandma's ashes are in this ring right here. This is all love from Grandma. The reason for this
We love Grandma.
conversation, the reason for this conversation is not to air out Grandma's or our family's dirty laundry. We're
Right.
setting the intention for you to feel a little bit more aware of why you're anxious. You sharing that intention with me? And
Yes.
the intention of this conversation is to feel like we have a little bit more control over our anxiety and that we can understand a little more of why we are this way, okay?
Okay.
Notice that we're not talking about food at all because none of this has really anything to do with food at this
Right.
point. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Grandma goes out and does drugs. You're 6 and you somehow have a knowing that she's doing drugs.
Yeah, I think I remember like her boyfriend who I adored, Ronnie. I remember being little and them talking about uppers and downers, and I asked what it was, and it was pills. So
Yeah.
I was like, knew about stuff I shouldn't know about at a very young age.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're sitting at home with your grandma and grandpa, your mom's out, right? You're
Right.
thinking, what if my mom doesn't come home? Then I'm going to be all alone without a mom forever, right? That's like the fear, right?
Right.
What if you could go back and teleport right now to you at 6 years old, you as a 56-year-old, and say one thing to yourself at 6 years old, what would it be?
Honestly, it would be go live with your dad.
Right. So not giving advice on what action to take, right? Because
Right.
had you gone and lived with your dad, you may have never met my dad. To have your whole life would have been different. So we don't really
Right.
know, right? Not what advice would you give, but just what would you say? What did you
Oh, I
actually
would
need as a
probably
6-year-old?
tell myself it's going to be okay.
And how would so let's
Even though
actually
it
say it.
wasn't okay growing up. So I don't really know.
Well, we're gonna find a way to know right now. So I want you to literally imagine you walk into that room in Grandpa and Grandma Ellie's house. Do you remember what that house looks like?
Oh yeah.
What does it look like when you walk into the front door?
There's pictures of us all up on the left wall, and on the right is the kitchen.
And where are you sitting as your mom is out partying?
Oh, I'm probably in front of the TV on the
And,
floor playing a game.
and what do you think you're watching on the TV?
Probably the Jetsons or the Flintstones.
So you walk in right now as a 56-year-old. There you are at 50 years
Right.
ago, right? This is the
Right.
year 1975, watching the Flintstones, and you tap yourself on the shoulder. What are you wearing as a 6-year-old?
I don't know at all.
Well, try to imagine. What do you think you're wearing in this visual?
I don't know. Probably shorts and a tank top or something. I don't know.
Okay, so you tap yourself on the left shoulder. 6-year-old you turns around. What can you say to this 6-year-old to let them know that everything's going to be okay? And just let's actually say it.
I mean, I really don't know what I would say to the 6-year-old because if I
Well,
said everything is going to,
you got to be the mother to this woman that didn't have the mother that she needed. So what are you going to tell her as the mother that you
well, I
needed?
would probably say it's going to be okay, but that would be a lie. I'd say your mom is going to come home. She's going to keep coming home for
Right.
another 55 years or whatever.
Yeah. What would be a lie about saying that it's going to be okay?
Well, because my upbringing wasn't really totally okay. I
But
mean,
it-
it was
but
good.
it-
I
but-
had a good
Yeah.
upbringing. My mother adored me. My dad was the best.
Right.
But the things I went through and saw is not okay.
But it is okay now, right?
Yeah,
Like you're
well,
okay.
it's okay. I'm okay now, but I still have all those memories, and I'm pissed off at my mom about it now more than ever.
Right. But you're okay now, right?
Right.
So let's say that instead you said, Stacy, at 6 years old, it's going to be okay because you're going to meet a man that you'll have kids with and then leave, but then you'll meet a man that you actually love and stay with him forever, and you'll have two beautiful children that
Right.
you'll be so proud. You feel that it actually is okay, right?
Well, yeah, everything has turned out okay, but it's because of my doing.
So tell that to your 6-year-old self, Stacy. At 6, you're perfectly capable of figuring this out, and you do actually figure. Like, do you get what I mean? Tell her
Yeah.
the truth. It will be okay, and because it actually is. So let's try one more time. I know it's cheesy.
You want me to say it?
Yes, speak it, not to me, but you can close your eyes if you want. Speak to your
I
old
don't want to
6-year-old
say it.
self and tell her the truth.
Well, okay, Stacy, it will be okay. You're going to get through this, and you're going to fix your life and get out of this mess that you're in.
Pausing this episode for 1 second so that you as the listener can hear that one more time. What did my mom need to hear when she was a kid?
Stacy, it will be okay. You're going to get through this, and you're going to fix your life and get out of this mess that you're in.
How relevant do you feel like that is to my mom's life right now? Yeah, yeah.
And then
Does
you're
it
going to have a
feel-
son who's talking to you about being fat in another 51 years or 50 years.
Yeah, and what are the biggest things that stress you out right now?
Well, the medical stuff, essentially, even though they're not finding anything really wrong with me.
Yeah, what else is stressing you out besides medical stuff?
Getting our house finished so we could sell it and move. Or
What
just
else?
even getting it finished, whether we sell it or not.
What are the 3 biggest stressors in your life right now? Your medical situation is number 1. What's number 2?
You being in Colombia.
Okay, what's number 3?
I really don't know. I mean, probably the house. The house is actually probably number 2 before you because we're doing an addition on our home and it's taking longer and it's just huge for me. I'm going crazy.
So let's
And my
say,
wonderful husband is doing it by himself and doing a great job. But
So I want you to look at yourself, not at me in this camera, right? Can you see yourself?
oh yeah,
And I want you to say to yourself what you just said to yourself when you were 6, but I want you to say it now that you're 56 years old. Speak it to yourself now.
to say the exact same thing I said to myself when I was 6.
You can say, "Hey, Stacy, I know you're stressed out about all this medical stuff. Everything is going to be okay."
Okay,
The same
Stacey, I
way-
know that you're stressed out about this medical stuff and other stuff, but it's going to all be okay and work out in the long run.
because every single thing has actually been okay. You've never had a medical issue that killed you. You've never had anything actually, you've never had anything that you were anxious about ever actually happen ever. Almost never, right?
Right. Yeah, that's true. I never thought of it
You've
like that.
almost never. You have been stressed out about your medical situation for how long? When's the first time you had medical anxiety?
When I was after you were born,
So
that's
30
when I
years ago.
started having medical anxiety because I thought if something
Right.
happened to me, you would be
Right.
left with your horrible
I would
father
I,
and
I
I'd
would
be
be I would be left in the
awful.
same situation that you would have been left in when you were a kid if your mom died.
Right. Well, no, I would have gone to a wonderful father. You wouldn't
Right,
have.
but you wouldn't have had a mom. So
Right.
you're like, you're as a kid, you're thinking I might not have a mom. So now that
Right.
anxiety's passed on, okay, well, what if my kid doesn't have a mom? Right?
Yeah.
Do you feel that a little bit?
Yeah.
Do
And
you
now I
feel
know
that
if something
you,
happened to me, you and your sister Peyton are going to be totally fine.
which is because everything is going to be okay.
Right.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you feel that when you feel anxiety come up, how many times per day do you think or have like an anxious thought, would you say?
Oh, well, sometimes I don't even have an anxious thought. I just feel my heart start doing that weird skipping
No.
beats or racing. So I have, but I
And
have anxious
what do you
thoughts.
do? What do you do when that happens?
I get super stressed out and start pacing and counting my heartbeats.
So you're just kind of like walk up, you get up, like walk around, you go, oh my God,
Yeah. And
and
the anxiety medication that they actually put me on is actually, I don't know if it's like an antipsychotic, I'm crazy kind of thing. It's not like that. And I know that doesn't mean that people that are on that stuff is crazy, but it is for heart palpitations.
right. So when you feel a heart palpitation, does it feel true to you that that's because everyone has anxiety. That's because you are particularly anxious. Does that feel true to you? There's
Yeah,
actually
but
nothing,
sometimes
there's nothing wrong,
some
but there's nothing actually wrong with your heart. They've done all the tests right
they've done
now.
all the
There's not
tests, but
right
sometimes I
now.
wake up with the palpitations from asleep.
Right, because you are constantly stressed throughout the day. So it's not that your body's experiencing a stressful thought. It's that
Right.
you live an extremely stressful life of being on the phone all day, which is extremely stress provoking, and not sleeping, which is extremely stress provoking, and then spending a lot of your time stressing out about things. So you're kind of always in a stressful state. Do you feel that a little bit?
Yeah, I think so.
But you're calm when you pet the dogs. Like you have some things that kind of calm you down, but overarchingly you feel pretty stressed out.
Yeah.
So when a stressful thought comes up, what I'm saying is that when the heart palpitation comes up, that's one thing. But when you have a stressful thought, what is something that you think you can tell yourself to let you know that everything is going to be okay?
Well, I could tell myself everything's going to be okay. It's not anything. And I do tell myself your heart is fine. It's not your heart.
Right. Yeah, clearly it's not your heart, it's your anxiety, right?
Right.
So we don't need to fix the heart because your heart's fully operational. You're very fortunate that you have a fully operational heart and body, given that we
Right.
haven't taken care of ourselves for our whole life, right?
Yeah.
Which is lucky, but most people are not in that situation. When that comes up, you can literally say to yourself, I have had medical anxiety for 30 years. I've had medical issues, but there's never been anything that has killed me. Everything has
Right.
always been okay in the long run. You feel that?
Yeah, I never thought of it like that.
Yeah. Is that something that
My
you can,
husband keeps saying that to me. He keeps
right?
saying you're
But it
fine.
doesn't mean, but no one is getting through to you. Not even me, right? You have to get through to yourself. It doesn't matter that I'm saying this to you. You have to get comfortable speaking this to yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So will you try that today when anxiety comes up today around medical stuff, around me being gone, around Peyton wanting to have a kid in the next year, like
Oh, I'm
whatever shit
excited
comes
about
up.
that.
Yeah, whatever shit comes up, when you feel that anxiety, to literally speak that out loud to yourself. Is that something that you're willing to try?
Yes.
Okay. Are you staying on the medications that you were prescribed, or what is the plan with these
No,
medications?
the prednisone was just a short-term course. I'm done with that. And the other one, no, I didn't take it yesterday when I started Googling it
Yeah.
and it said weight gain. No. I mean, I guess yeah, no, I'm not.
So they gave you anxiety medication, you started taking it, and then after taking it, you Googled it and you saw that it makes you gain weight. So then you said, never mind, and then just stopped.
Right. Well, it's not a have to take it every day. It's take it up to 3 times a day when you get anxious or get your heart palpitations.
Okay. And it causes weight gain from water retention or from fat retention?
I just says weight gain.
So can you see that we don't even know? Like now we're like making medical decisions and we don't even know the entirety of how,
Right.
what, who. Do you see how fucking crazy that sounds?
What? Well, I mean, I don't know. I would assume it's from water because how can it make me gain weight if I'm not calorically putting those calories in my body? It's not
Right.
like
So
that little
do you,
pill
well,
is 3,500 calories.
do you feel, whose idea was it to get on the anxiety medication?
The doctor.
So the doctor said, let's get on this anxiety medication. You just said, okay.
They said it'll help your heart palpitations. She said that they prescribe it for people that are speakers when they get up in front of people, like a big crowd, and they get super nervous.
You know, do you remember my story about all that shit? So my doctor, who you love, I hated
Love
him.
him.
Hate him. Hate
Why
fat
do you?
doctors. I can't have a fat doctor. There's no way
He's
that
not
I
fat
can ever have
anymore.
it. Well, that's great. Well, he was fat at the time. The nothing against fat
But
people.
because you're fat.
Fat doctors do not make sense to me because they do not actually embody what they teach. The idea of having a doctor, which is prescribing me on my health and how to take care of myself when they don't take care of themselves, doesn't make any sense. You see that?
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that he's still not knowledgeable in his field because
Right.
he's a super knowledgeable
But,
doctor.
but I don't need knowledge. I could Google anything. What I need is embodiment and real advice from somebody that's actually doing it, because that's different. If I needed to know what pill to get on, I could just chat GPT, look that up on AI. I don't need a doctor to tell me that. There's no knowledge that I can't find on my own. My doctor told me that because I was having panic attacks just like you, right? And I had that one at work. This was like 6 years ago. Do you remember that? 6 or 7 years
I remember,
ago?
and you called me and I said, it's a panic attack, babe.
Yeah, and I'm like, my heart, oh my God, my heart, same shit that you're talking about, was laying down on the floor in the cubicle. You remember this?
You called me from
Right.
the floor.
Yeah, went and saw that doctor who tells me that the reason that I am fat, I'm like, what's going on in your life? And I'm like, I hate my girlfriend, I hate my job, I don't make enough money, I don't want to live here, I want to move, just like everything, just like you, my medical, the dogs, the house, my son's traveling, like same kind of shit, right?
Right.
And I just trauma dumped it all on him. And he goes, well, the reason why you're fat, and I'm like, and I'm fat is of course, and I hate that, right? The reason that you're fat is because you're anxious and you're depressed. So what we're going to do is we're going to put you on Xanax. Do you remember this?
And you
I
drooled.
I took Xanax for 3 days and was waking up with just drooling out of my mouth and smeared Rolos all over my chest one day. And what I actually found in myself, and this may not be the case for everyone, but for myself, the doctor said that I was fat because I was anxious and depressed. But the actual truth was that I was anxious and depressed because I was fat. And that to become the person that loses weight and keeps it off, I had to address my own anxiety. So I actually cured my anxiety through weight loss. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And the
Can you
sad thing is that I didn't even know that you were ever depressed because we would talk
Right.
about stuff like that.
Right. Can you see, though, in yourself that through becoming Stacy, the healthiest version of Stacy that feels younger at 65 than you feel at 56, can you feel that to become that person, you need to heal your anxiety? There's actually not another way. You feel the truth in that?
Well, I've never thought of that. This is the first I've heard of that.
But are you thinking about that right now?
Yes.
Do you remember a couple episodes ago when we visualized you being healthy at 65? Was that version of you very anxious?
No.
No. So in that visual, to become her, we have to work through our anxiety. Do you feel that?
Yeah.
Because if we don't do that, we cannot cultivate the relationship with food that we need. And eventually you will use food to help you feel less anxious. The same way that you use the phone for right now. Do you see the connection there?
I don't think I use the phone to be less anxious. I work on the phone.
How many hours per day do you have your phone on you right now?
I don't know how to tell.
That's okay. I'll tell you. You can just pull it open right now and you can click on the settings.
Hold on. Why are you doing this?
Because we're just getting to the just no bullshit.
But
the
remember,
truth.
so if somebody goes to an 8-hour job, I have my
Right.
whole job on the phone.
How many hours do you work on the phone? Because seriously.
Oh, probably. I mean, right now I've gotten 4 or 5 messages just being on the phone with you. So that would keep me on the phone and then I would fill an order.
How do you know how many messages you've had? You haven't looked at your phone one time.
Because it makes a little VV.
Okay. So but just guess, how many hours do you spend on the phone?
I'd say 7.
7. And how many hours of those are working?
6.
So you
Hypothetically.
only spend 1 hour on the phone per day not working?
I just look at TMZ and watch Snapchat and the videos that you do. I don't do anything else on there.
So click on settings.
Okay,
You know
hold
how to
on.
get to your settings?
I do.
And then you're going to search for time, Time.
Okay, hold on. It's like call out your mother day.
Or just get to the same part of you. Do you remember earlier on you said, well, I don't eat enough calories to be fat. I don't know. You don't actually know what's happening. You're not aware of that. So what we're doing is we're gaining the awareness of what's actually happening. You get what? It's not about calling you out. I know that you already know the answers to this stuff, but it's about like showing yourself the actual truth. Did you
Okay,
click on
I
screen
can't
time?
find time.
You just search for the word time.
I did.
Then
It's
you
not here.
okay. Why did you show me your phone? What does it say when you
Oh,
type in
screen
time?
time, you mean? I
Boom.
thought you meant just
Yep.
time.
Click on screen time. Daily
Okay.
average. What does
Two
it say?
hours and 12 minutes.
That is not the truth. Okay, what does it actually say? 9 hours and 59 minutes per day on your phone. Okay, you're on the phone for 10 hours per day, right?
Right.
Which is basically basically over 60% of your awake time you are looking at a screen. So when we think about the history, how long have cell phones you were around for this? When did cell phones come out? In this way, the way we use them right now, smartphones.
Oh, I think that we started like getting on the computer on them, and maybe that I did, and maybe like we were in Indiana, so 2005 to 8, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. So
Before
like,
that, we would just text on them, and before that, we
like
could only call.
15 or so years. So you are one of the first human beings in the history of ever to even look at the screen of a phone. Do you feel that?
Oh yeah, my dad had a cell phone when I was like 5.
Right, right. And you spend 10 hours per day on the phone. You're saying you work 7 hours. You're probably not actually actively working 7 hours. If you had to get all of your work done in 3 hours a day, meaning 30-minute blocks 6 times, you probably could do that if there was a gun to your head, right? So it's not that we're like actively working for 7 hours a day. It's we're kind of like working on Facebook, watching a reel, doing a message here. It's not like actual work the whole time, right?
No,
Which is like,
I think I'm actually working, because if I said I only have 2 hours a day, that means that I would ignore everybody's messages, and I would
mhm.
not be listing all the different merchandise that I list, which I do all day long.
So you work 7 hours a day. So if at 12 o'clock I started a time, and this is getting bitchy, right? But if I set a timer at 12 o'clock and you had until 7, that means that for every single second you are constantly working with no break. You never get up when you never look
Oh
away
no,
from your
I get
screen.
up all the time. I take
Right,
my
right,
phone
right.
with me,
That's what
but
I'm
I
saying.
get
That's what I'm
up.
saying. So you're not working for 7 hours a day. You might be spending 7 hours of energy, but you're not actually working for 7 hours a day. You get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you feel that you're capable of healing your anxiety without spending 10 hours a day on the phone? Do you think that
Yeah, I'm
you're going
definitely
to be able to
addicted
do
to
it?
the phone.
Is there a world where you can spend less time on the phone or not? Yes or no?
Oh,
If not, then
yes.
that's okay. Yes. What could you do to spend less time on the phone?
Probably not get on it throughout the middle of the night.
So you're on the phone late at night.
Well, yeah, when I wake up, I check my messages.
And what time during the night are you on the phone?
Whenever I'm awake, maybe when my husband goes to bed, I'll be on the phone.
So you're not sleeping particularly well. How often do you sleep? How many hours per day?
Oh, less than 4,
Less than four
5,
hours a
maybe
day.
sometimes 5 tops.
So we got 10 hours screen time, four to
Interrupted,
five hours, 4 to 5 hours of sleep, 10 hours screen time. So you're on the screen double the amount of time that you sleep.
right?
Yeah. Do you think that if you were to sleep more consistently, if I just wove a magic wand and you slept for 6 to 7 hours a night, do you think you would feel less anxious potentially?
Oh yeah, I think I'd feel better all around.
Right. So is it fair to say that everything that you are looking for is actually just in the journey of finding ways to sleep more efficiently?
I think sleep is a big problem with everything that's going on with me.
What would you say is the biggest problem, number one? Would you say sleep might be number one?
Yeah,
What did the
because your
doctor?
sister called me the other day.
What did the doctor say?
I go to a sleep study in June.
Right. So, but is sleep potentially the number one issue right now? Is that possible?
Well, if the sleep is leading to my medical problems, then yeah.
But you don't have any diagnosed medical problems. You only have medical anxiety. So what we're doing is we're
No, I
looking
do,
at
no,
why.
that's not. I do have things going on, like the lump in my boob and all that stuff.
Right,
There
but
is
there
stuff
has
that's
been
going
no,
on.
but the doctor has not found any actual things that are wrong. There might be things happening, but none of them have been identified as actual issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we're doing, what I'm asking is, and I know this can be hard to see this when you're in it, but what I'm asking is you have medical anxiety. Your medical anxiety is causing you to get on medication that is causing you to gain weight, that's causing you to feel like shit. Can you see that the way out of the loop is to address the anxiety, right?
Yeah, I totally agree
Right.
with that.
Does it feel true to you that if you slept more, you might feel less anxious?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So is it fair to say that the solution is to just find a way to sleep better or more? Is that
Both,
possible?
better
Is that
and more.
it's possible, right? Do you feel that if you spent less time on the screen, especially at night, that you would sleep better?
Well, yeah, but when I'm awake and can't go to sleep, I play on the phone
Right.
and then I fall asleep.
Which, right, but that's not quality sleep, right? So the phone is not helping you fall asleep. The phone is just distracting you from the anxiety that's keeping you awake. So the reason that you say you're addicted to the phone is because it's impossible to feel anxiety when you're on the phone, because you're on the phone. It's when you get off of the phone that you feel anxiety, right? And it's the same thing with Netflix and all this and food. You can't feel anxious when you're eating. It's when you're done eating that you feel the anxiety because the food
Hmm.
and the phone is distracting you, right? Does it feel true to you again that if I just wove a magic wand and you slept 7 hours a night, that you might feel less anxious, and that if you felt less anxious, you might make more progress with your health to feel less medically anxious? Does that process make sense?
That's a possibility.
Are you willing to stop? I know you're laughing, but this is
Well,
just
I would
really
sleep if I could
it's really cut and
sleep.
dry. But you can't sleep because you're on the phone. So what's going to come first, the sleep or the phone? Like one of them has to. You're saying that you're not sleeping, so you're on the phone. What I'm saying is you're not sleeping because you're on the phone. Do you see the difference? So if
Hmm.
I was to say you cannot be on the phone after 10 o'clock, no matter what, I promise you would sleep better. And that if you couldn't fall asleep, you would just lay there and then you would actually fall asleep faster than you think. Do you get what I
So
mean?
so what if you called it 10:05?
D- There's nothing that you're going. So that's the anxiety part of you. What if my kids need me?
Yes.
There's nothing that you could do. I'm in a different country. If I need you, I'm fucked. Like you're not going to pick up and fly here. It's going to take you 12 hours to get here, right? So it
Yeah.
doesn't actually matter. Are you willing to try turning the phone on airplane mode at night so that you can sleep? To just
Why
try that,
airplane mode? What does that do?
so that you don't get any text messages or notifications on your phone when you're sleeping, so that you can sleep.
Well, I don't know if I want it to be where if what if there was an emergency? Like what if your sister needed me? Not
Right.
having the phone where I guess somebody could get a hold of my husband.
Yeah. So what we can do, I'll show you when we get off how to turn off of all of your notifications besides notifications from my sister. Okay.
Can you?
So that if she,
Okay.
sure. So that if we still message you, you can respond, but we can turn off all of the other notifications. Okay.
Okay. I'll
Are you
try
willing?
that.
Are you willing to try that?
I will try that.
And are you willing to put the phone on the other side of the room, not next to the bed or not next to the couch, so that when you wake up, you can't reach for it?
Sure.
And if that helps you sleep better, then you might feel less anxious. Then you might be able to lose weight without worrying about it and have less anxiety and have a better life. Do you
That would
feel
be
that?
sad though, that if that is the cause of it, because I love the phone.
Yeah. How many people do you know that sleep 4 hours a night and feel good about their lives?
I don't really ask people their sleep, but probably not many.
All the people that I know that sleep like shit are fat. Every single, I've never met a healthy person that felt like they had good direction in their life and good control over their mental state that slept 4 hours a night ever one, literally one time. I've never even heard of that. So
I've
what
done
we
that
can
my whole
do,
life.
and right, and what else has been going on your whole life?
What we are, what?
You've
Anxious,
you've
weight gain, all that stuff.
you've been anxious and fat your whole life, right?
Hmm.
And so now what we're doing is we're addressing the things that are perpetuating our anxiety, and we're continue confronting the anxiety head on instead of hiding from it with the phone. So
Okay.
that's our homework for this week is to we're gonna put the phone on the other side of the room.
We didn't even
It's not
talk about food. What?
what, what do you want to talk about food for?
Well,
It's not a
nothing, but
food
it's
issue.
just, well, I just was,
You don't have a food issue.
yeah.
There's nothing wrong. You don't like a lot of healthy foods, and we're working on that. But you are not fat because of food.
Right.
You're fat because you're uncomfortable with yourself and with your anxiety. Do you feel like chills when I'm saying that? Do you feel the truth in that?
Well, I think that's true, but I never
Yeah.
started looking at it like that until we've talked about that.
Which is why this is the time when you're going to keep the weight off. And the reason why you've kept gaining the weight back is because you've been trapped in this cycle of thinking that you're going to diet yourself to weight loss. It's never going to happen. The only thing you're going to do is address all of the things that led to you being fat. And one of them is looking at the screen, which is making you feel like shit and sleep like shit all day, which fucks
Right.
with your metabolism, which fucks with your ability to think straight, which fucks with your ability to show up for yourself and other people. Do you feel all that kind of stuff?
For sure.
Makes you feel tired? Are you tired pretty regularly?
I'm actually not usually tired. That's what's weird.
That's super weird. I don't know what kind of crack you're on, but if you can give that to some other people, you'd be a billionaire.
Yeah, the doctors
The
keep saying, well, you're fatigued. I'm like, I don't have fatigue.
Yeah, that's our homework for the week. Okay,
Okay.
talk
Wait,
to
for the
me
whole
about
week I have to do that with my phone or just tonight?
for the
See
whole
how it
week.
goes.
Yeah. So for the whole week, you get to try to save your own life.
Okay.
It's not for the next week do I have to put my phone away. It's for the next week I get to try to sleep better to see if that helps me with my medical anxiety because I've never known what it's like to live without anxiety. And that anxiety is a lot of what caused me to use food in a way that wasn't good for me. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is a tough love conversation right now. This is all coming from love. My commitment to you is to tell you what is actually going to help you. And this is hard stuff for me to say because I don't want you to die. But
I understand
the
that. I
direction
don't
that you're going,
either.
yeah, the direction that you're going, you are actually going to die. And the reason why you have so much anxiety is because you know that. You see,
Well,
that's
we're
why
all
you're
going to
anxious.
die.
No, but you're going to die sooner than you need to die. And that's why you're so anxious because you feel that, right?
Well, when
The
I'm
way that
sick, yeah, I think the worst.
your mom, people get sick because they don't sleep. So look up the data between sleeping
Oh, I
like
know.
shit
Your
and feeling
sister
like,
told me that the other day. She
but
said if you don't start sleeping, you can actually die early
yeah.
from not sleeping.
So again, is it fair to say that everything we're looking for is in the journey of getting off of the phone at night so that we could sleep?
Perhaps it might be. We will see.
But there's no other answer. There's nothing wrong with you. The doctors can't find anything wrong with you.
You're
You're
making me sound
anxious
like
as fuck.
I'm crazy and like have some fake medical stuff or something.
Mom, you do have fake medical stuff and you've been dealing with it your whole life. It's not me trying to make you sound crazy. I want this to be a come to Jesus moment for us. Think of how many times in the last 5 years I've said, Mom, it seems like there's always something wrong. And you go, no, Nick, that's not the truth. Can you at least remember how often I've been saying that?
Yeah, but you'll say it if
I'm,
I have a cold.
but I'm not pulling that out of my ass. There's always something wrong. People don't get colds as much as you do. You get colds because you treat yourself like shit and you're not sleeping. So you're thinking like, let me get on this medication.
No,
Take control of your no,
I didn't go
no,
and ask
mom,
for the
mom.
medication.
I know. Take control of your life. Get to the point where the doctor says, "Here's these meds." You say, "You know what, doctor? I'm not even taking control of my own life the way that I deserve to. Fuck that medication. I'm going to start sleeping better." Do you see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You have to take control of your life, or you're going to die, and you're going to die soon. And your body knows that. That's why you're so fucking anxious. Do you see? Do you get what I'm saying?
Okay, Nicholas, I will do
I
the phone and see how it goes.
but you're going to do the phone and stick to it, and it will actually go if you just let it. Like, it's not see how it goes, it will work. If you're not on the phone, you will sleep better over time. It might not happen the first night, but you can't just quit after one day, be like, ah, fuck it, I'm just get back on the phone at 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, you're waking up in the middle of the night and getting on the phone,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
I am.
You will never, I can't help you with food and anxiety if we can't stop doing that. So let's do that this week. Okay.
Okay.
Talk to me about cravings 1 through 10
Oh, probably like a
for the
3
last week.
this week. Probably like a
Well,
3 this week.
well, that's some improvement. What have you had cravings for?
I think my cravings were a 1 or 2 last week.
So
Not this week, last week. So when I was doing the 5th week, I had a little bit more cravings for a couple days.
what were some of the things that you were craving?
Pizza and donuts.
So what are you doing when these cravings come up, or where are you?
I don't know. We went by the donut store, and usually I haven't been phased for the last month. Wait, we didn't stop. I didn't get the donut, and the craving went away. I didn't think about it all day long, but I thought, oh gosh, the donut or 5 sounds good.
Yes. So you're feeling more in
Not
control
literally, but
of like when you have those thoughts, you're feeling more in control of being able to say no and have it not be a big deal.
yes.
Okay. Talk to me about hunger 1 through 10. 10 is like I'm constantly starving for the last week. 1 is I don't think I was ever hungry.
Oh, probably like a 3. 3.
Okay. I like the foods I am eating 1 through 10. 10 is I love them, favorite foods ever. 1 is like, what the fuck are these weight loss foods?
Probably like, well, I don't even really look at what I'm eating as a weight loss food, except for like the apple or the smoothie. But the other stuff is like probably a 5. I mean, the other day I was craving my taco salad. That was last night, so I was excited to have that.
So you're starting to crave some of the foods that you're eating more regularly?
Yeah.
Yep. What does that feel like to say that?
Well, good, but I don't even look at like a taco salad or a taco the way I make it as a weight loss food.
That's the goal, right? To just be eating foods that help you on your journey without having to feel like they're weight loss foods.
Right.
leg pain 1 through 10. 10 is I can't walk, can't get out of bed. 1 is I forgot about my leg pain.
Probably like a 2, maybe a 3.
And is that because you've been on medication for it?
I don't know. Yeah, it could be because they put me on the prednisone for it.
You were an 8, a 7, a 5. Now you're at a 2 leg pain.
Yeah.
So have you recognized how different your leg feels?
I did say that the other day when I was walking because I still limp a little, but it didn't hurt. I brought up the fact that my leg wasn't as bad.
Okay. Medical anxiety 1 through 10. 10 is I'm so medically anxious I can't breathe. 1 is
7.
I didn't. 7.
Actually, I'm not as anxious now that my mammogram came back. That I just have a bump and it's not malignant.
And just to confirm, there's nothing actually tangibly wrong that the doctors say you have this thing that is wrong, right?
No, they did. They were thinking breast cancer 100%.
Right. But fuck what they're thinking. Has anybody said there's actually anything wrong?
Yeah, my doctor said there's something going on with you. And after we do these tests, we think that it is autoimmune.
Okay, but there's nothing diagnosed wrong right now, right?
No.
Okay. The biggest thing that's different on this journey than the last times that you've tried to lose weight?
I didn't have my son coaching me.
Okay. Second biggest thing that's different.
I'm eating different foods because before it'd be like, okay, a Big Mac is 550 calories. I'm going to go get the Big Mac. I'm not doing stuff like that now.
Okay. So you're feeling more in control of food, it sounds like.
I'm a little bit more in control of food. Maybe more than a little bit.
Biggest thing you've learned about yourself in the last 5 weeks?
Probably that I can do this and I don't think I'm going to quit this.
Yes.
And before I think I kind of always, well, I don't know. Before I kind of always knew that it would come to an end quickly because I would fly off the handle and go to wherever and then start over again tomorrow. I haven't been doing that now. I am forgiving myself. Like I did put some chips in my sandwich one day and in my taco salad last night, but usually I would eat a lot of chips and this time it was like 10.
Yeah. So you're having like more in control of a normal
More in
portion
control, yeah.
of a bullshit food, right?
Yeah. I'm not a huge chip eater, but I do like chips in my sandwich.
And then last question is, if this was to be 1% easier, what would need to change?
That all my favorite foods had 0 calories.
Okay, so what would need to change if that was actually real?
Well, if that was real, nothing would have to change. I'd be good. Ask the question again.
You would die because you wouldn't have any calories.
Oh yeah. So if they
Yeah,
were all,
so
if all
if-
of my favorite
so
foods were like lettuce,
Yeah, if this journey was to be 1% easier, what would need to change?
I would need to like foods that I don't like.
And how are you, the 2 foods that you're eating right now that you previously said you might gag if you ate them are bananas and apples, right?
Yeah, and the bananas are still hard for me.
And
I think they're harder than the apple now for some reason.
Yeah, but are they easier than they were 5 weeks ago?
Yeah, but I could just
is-
like taste like, I don't know. It's the smoothie's hard for me in the morning with the protein powder. I don't love the taste of protein powder.
Yeah. Are you able to tolerate? You don't like any healthy foods, right? So what's so interesting about your journey is like, I would typically say never eat something that you don't like, but we have not currently found a way for you to like a single fruit or healthy food, right?
Right.
So for you, we have to. There's not really a choice. Does it feel? And if not, that's okay. But does it feel like these foods are easier to eat than they were 5 weeks ago?
For sure.
So
And
that
I don't
means-
actually hate the apple anymore because we got sweet apples, so I'm a little better with the apple.
Yeah. So are you open to the possibility that you might continue to like these foods more over time?
That would be the goal.
Because you have liked it more over time in the last 5 weeks, right?
Yeah.
So if you
Not
end up-
necessarily the banana, though. I think the apple, yes, not the banana.
So the apple, when you first ate it, what was it? A 1 out of 10 or a 2 out of 10?
I can't remember. I just didn't like it. I don't like the texture. I don't like the skin, the popping of the skin when I bite into it.
Give it a number out of 10, the first bite of an apple you ever took.
Oh, a 1. Ever took? A 1.
Okay, it took 5 weeks ago.
I can't remember where I was then. Maybe a 2-ish.
And what do you think it's at right now?
Maybe a 5.
So maybe in 5 more weeks we go +3 and we're at 8.
Wow, that'd be huge.
Right? Have we seen no improvement in the banana? Are we gagging with the banana, or what's going on?
No,
when we
I
eat
drink the banana, but I could taste it like they taste not ripe or something. I don't know. I just get a weird taste and with the protein powder.
It's tough because you have to. Are there any other things that you feel you can eat for protein for breakfast? Because I typically wouldn't
No.
recommend protein powder, but for you, it's there's no options, right? Because you won't do Greek yogurt.
I
right?
tried that. It was awful. It was like
Yeah.
sour and smelled like throw up.
So if you had to eat protein for breakfast, what would you eat?
I would keep doing what I'm doing now.
Okay. So does that feel true to you that we're on the best path that we can be on right now, though it may not be ideal?
Yes. I
Okay.
mean, I don't dread it. I get through the first half of it okay. It's the second half that kind of creeps me out.
Yeah. So we gained a little bit of weight this week. What is your mindset going into this next week regarding food and regarding weight loss?
That I, what is my mindset? Well, that I'm going to lose weight.
Hmm.
I mean, the only reason that I honestly think that I didn't lose weight and that I gained some is from the medications because I just have not gone crazy at all.
Does it feel true to you, though, that in just sticking to this, that weight will come back off and that you'll shed that water weight again?
Oh, I'm sure of that.
Yeah. So there's nothing to make up for. You don't need to undereat to make up for anything. We just want to stick to the normal thing that we've been doing, okay?
And we're now the weather's nice. We're going to go start playing tennis each day. So I get a lot of exercise doing that, trying to run after the ball that I missed hitting.
Yeah, that's
That's
amazing.
true, though. I mean, I get miles in running back and forth.
Yeah, a couple other things that we changed in the last week was we added a little bit of squats to your walking.
Yeah, chair squats.
How have the chair squats been going?
Fine.
How are you feeling about what's your takeaway from this call? It's kind of a hard call,
This
right?
is the worst call.
Yeah, worst call in what way?
Well, the phone stuff. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to get anxious thinking that I missed something important. But if you show me how the calls can come through from you or your sister, I'll be a lot better.
When's the last time that something important was sent to you on the phone from me or my sister where we needed you?
Well, probably never. Well,
Probably
yeah, there's
never.
been
So-
times with you,
No,
especially in college.
Right. So 10 years ago. When's the last time?
Probably you in college.
So you're stressed out about something happening that hasn't happened in 10 years. Do you see how crazy? So then you're going, you're making it out like I'm a crazy person. Do you see how crazy that is?
Yeah, that does sound weird.
And what you're actually sacrificing for that is your own health.
Yeah.
So let's take back control of our health. And we're going to start with, you've already taken back a lot of control of your health with food. You've done the hardest part. The food and everything's going to become easier as we get more control of sleeping better. It's not about the phone. It's about sleeping better. We're going to sleep better by not being on the phone after 10 o'clock at night. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I love you and I'm proud of you for doing this
love
work.
you too.
I know this was a hard call and we're going to force the issue here and you're going to fucking live. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and stop this recording and then I'll help you with that fun stuff.
Okay.
If you made it to the end of this podcast episode, thanks for being here. I don't have anything against people taking anxiety medication, but what I do know for a fact is that anxiety is not this thing that we have no control over, that some of us are plagued with and some of us are not plagued with. It's something that is much more in control than any doctor has ever led us to believe. In my experience and the experience of a bunch of people in the world, especially people that are fat, we go into the doctor and they say, oh, you've got a brain imbalance. And then they put you on medication, but they never even measured the chemicals in my brain for the imbalance that they were talking about in the first place. So if you find yourself in that position of giving up control of your mental state without actually fully stepping into the things that you can't control, I invite you to pause and take a breath and really ask yourself, am I truly living a lifestyle and putting myself in a position to be able to work through this anxiety without needing to get on medication? And if the answer is no, what is it specifically that you are not doing that you could do that might make you feel less anxious? You have so much more control over your life than you have been led to believe.